Today we're going to tap into customer insights with social listening. Talk more about the spring wave and what we're doing with Microsoft Social Listening. As some of you have done in the window here, please feel free to type in a Q&A. Raji and myself, Vince Lapicola, will do our best to answer questions throughout the entire presentation. Okay, so here we go. Today, we're going to tell you about Microsoft Social Listening and the opportunity this represents for your business. And as we all know, the world is changing, and it's changing rapidly. And one of the ways in which it's changing most is the rise of social media. Today's customers are more informed, and they're getting their information in new ways from new sources. Decisions are influenced and discussions online and also from user reviews. The old way of doing business has really changed, and that means companies must change as well. And as with all changes, these companies that successfully adapt to the reality of the market will succeed, while those who they don't, well, they're going to be left pretty far behind. And at Microsoft, we understand the shift, and with the launch of Microsoft Social Listening, we can definitely help. So here's the presentation for today. We're going to jump through the State of the Union, social listening concepts, and what's happening right now. We're going to conduct a live demonstration. We're going to use Xbox One Connect as a social media listening topic and show you how that's set up and working both within the Microsoft Social Listening construct as well as within Dynamic CRM. Raji is going to help out with the setup, and he's going to show you how did we plug that into Dynamic CRM and how were the queries set up in social listening. We're going to talk about the future roadmap, what it looks like, what's coming up for the rest of this calendar year. We're going to talk about the pricing. We'll touch a summary, a summarization of the entire meeting, and of course give time at the end for more Q&A. All right. So as you know, the customer experience is truly your brand, and every touch point the customer has, it influences that brand. And those touch points, they used to be very limited. It was a TV advertisement, a product packaging, the product itself, maybe a brochure, maybe a flyer. And if customers wanted information, it came from the company, industry publications, or perhaps a select group of peers. And with the rise of social and mobile, those touch points are multiplying. They're multiplying exponentially, in fact. And today's customers have a huge network to tap for information, and they're no longer buying in the ways that they used to. And while the shift creates new challenges, it also creates a huge opportunity for businesses to reach customers in ways never before possible. As I've mentioned, the world has gone social. And we all experience it every day in our personal lives. We're sharing on Twitter, Facebook, blogs, and we want to buy a product. We go online, we look for product reviews, we ask questions on forums, we engage our peers for opinions, and we tweet our likes and our loves. We post photos and videos and friends around the world, with all our friends that are all around the world. And this isn't a trend or a fad. This is a fundamental shift in the way that people communicate. But this isn't just a change in the way that consumers behave. These social conversations and behaviors are increasingly moving to the B2B space as well. So there's a conversation going on right now, and if you're not listening to it, you're going to be left in the dark. You can see the facts here. These are all just meant to show you what's happening in the market. And it's amazing to think how social the world is truly becoming. But to highlight a couple of these facts here, first, 75% of business-to-business customers are likely to use social media to influence their purchase decisions. That's crazy. But what this means is that customers aren't just using social. They're using it to buy. So if you're not engaged on social, you're missing the majority of your target market. These customers are out there, they're talking about your products, your brands, your competitors, and if you aren't hearing the conversation and using them to inform your strategy, you're going to be at a severe disadvantage. Secondly, customers are 70% of the way through the purchase process before they contact sales. Well, when you think about this and the way the customers buy, that means that they've already done all their research or the majority of the research, and they're close to a buying decision before they even contact you. Given this, you want to be able to influence the purchase decision, and you need to engage them long before they ever contact your sales department. And as customer behavior changes, companies need to change in order to meet those new customer expectations. And when I see the statistic that 44% of customers complain on social networks, I see an opportunity for companies to use social to get leads from their competitors who really aren't taking the time to respond on social outlets. So more importantly, the social world all customers, they're not created equal. Influencers are important to decision making. If one negative social media comment can cost you 30 customers, it's critical to ensure that that you're keeping the right influencers happy. We've just covered isn't new. Everyone knows social's out there and it's growing rapidly, but understand that this shift has taken place and understand that they need to do something about it. But having a company Facebook page and Twitter handle, that isn't enough. Businesses need to be involved in the social web. For businesses who understand the power of social and how to harness it, the opportunity is massive. Today, some companies have realized this and they're attempting to adapt. And the problem is that today's social tools are complex and they're priced so high that they're only available to an elite few. A couple of marketers or perhaps some very large advanced companies, perhaps a 5 to 10 person a team of social listeners. And while these tools, with a small elite group as a start, it's not nearly enough. So at Microsoft, we believe this valuable information should be available to everyone, especially in the front lines, the folks that carry, the bulk of the weight for building your company and your brand. So introducing Microsoft Social Listening. For the first time, Microsoft is democratizing the social listening product, and we're making it widely available to everyone. Today's social listening solutions are typically expensive and complicated, as I mentioned before, and as such, marketing departments might buy licenses for a couple of users or maybe just a few in a social media department, but they do their analysis and get some insights, but rarely are they sharing these insights with the people that need it the most. And with 1.4 billion people on Facebook, why are there only a couple of folks in your company on social? With 5,000 tweets per second, how can a handful of people possibly monitor and pass all the relevant insights to the roles that need it most? So to fully leverage the value of the social information, it needs to be as widely available as humanly possible, and the insights need to be in the hands of the roles or those personnel that need it the most. And with Microsoft Social Listening, it's designed with exactly that in mind. And it's included free with select CRM editions. And we know that time is money, and complicated products take a long time to learn. So with Social Listening, what we've done is we've made it simple and easy to use. The UI is designed with the same familiar look and feel as CRM, so it can be learned quickly. Now I'd like to take just another minute here to explain how that works across marketing, sales, and service. When we think about what social means to the marketer, it's rarely about brand management. For a marketer, protecting the brand is extraordinarily important. That means that if someone is out there damaging the brand, marketers need to know about it so that they can quickly fix it. And for marketers, Microsoft Social Listening helps with number one, campaign monitoring. So if a marketer's out there running a campaign, it's really easy to get feedback. By listening to the social posts and the commentary, marketers can evaluate and adjust the campaign in real time. And conversely, if no one's talking about your campaign, that also can tell you a significant amount of information. Secondly, brand and product sentiment. Sentiment monitoring is a tool which looks at posts and it evaluates these keywords to assign a value. Words like good or great are given a good, positive sentiment. Words like bad or terrible are, of course, given a negative sentiment. And by using sentiment analysis, Microsoft Social Listening lets marketers analyze posts to truly understand the perception in the marketplace. And lastly, top influencer tracking. So, as you know, in social, not everyone is equal. Some personas that are out there are more influential than others, and their viewpoints carry more weight with more people. And Microsoft Social Listening makes it easy for marketers to identify the impact of different influencers and to prioritize those who can deliver the greatest social impact. And then also from a social sales perspective, there are social buying signals. And that's when, an opportunity for salespeople to listen to the social conversations and pick up on trends or signals. And with people, when people send the signal, they're looking for something. They might be dissatisfied with their current solution or need more information on a topic. And that's an opportunity for a seller to engage. A good example is to think of is like running a marathon. When people prepare for a marathon, it's a fairly similar process, right? The event is some distance in the future, and the preparation phase, they're going to go buy some shoes, maybe join a running group, perhaps buy a new watch or shorts or t-shirt, whatever it is, and they're going to read information on how to take care of a sore knee, but what's important about this is that along the journey, they're giving off social signals. They're posting to Facebook, they're tweeting, they're commenting on blogs, etc., etc., and all of those signals can be heard to use, to use these to engage a customer directly. Another one is competitive intelligence. It is an opportunity for sellers to understand what competitors are saying and what customers are saying about the competition. So understanding how your competitors are positioned or the feedback from customers will allow sellers to position their conversations in the most effective way possible. And then thirdly, target account tracking. This lets you truly monitor developments at a top account and use social insights to know if you need to check in. This lets you deliver the right level of service and to create amazing customer experiences with your targeted accounts. And from a social customer service perspective, with respect to social care, when a customer is complaining on social that it needs to be addressed immediately, with standard customer care procedure, namely, translating into a case record perhaps so that can be tracked in the system and resolved. And monitoring social lets customer service get the relevant information to proactively respond to the best and timeliest ways possible. Next is global sentiment analysis. So for the customer service folks, sentiment is very useful for care. So say, for example, that there's a dip in sentiment and people aren't feeling great about a particular product. In this case, customer service or the care department can proactively reach out to resolve the issue. Or for broader issues, care can help plan how the company can respond or even staff up to ensure that there are enough care representatives to handle the response. And then alerts. Alerts are one of the most valuable tools for customer care, and by using alerts, care can spot potential issues before they expand and damage the brand. All right, so moving on to the features. Number one, global sentiment analysis in the software. This is going to give you the ability to be able to identify whether there are positive, negative feelings about your product, your brand, and it can be helpful for shaping messaging and sales conversations more effectively. Number two, share of voice. It lets us to gives us the ability to see posts across Facebook, Twitter, blogs, news outlets, etc. So you can see where the volume of the discussion is coming from and which channels are most important for a particular discussion. This is incredibly important because it lets you to hone in your efforts and to target on a particular channel that's the most valuable to all of your efforts. Third, there's competitive intelligence, as I talked about a little bit earlier. It's incredibly valuable as it lets you see how you compare against your competition in the minds of a potential customer. You can track competitive offers, product strengths, product weaknesses, and more to position sales conversations more effectively and to help with new product development. All right. Custom report. So in order to share the insights easily across the company, Microsoft Social Listening lets you compile data in an easy-to-read report, which can be shared, of course, across the entire company. There's also trend alerts. So think of trend alerts like they let you know when things aren't normal. They have that ability to send a notification when more posts than would be statistically normal take place. So this lets you spot market trends, and it lets you know when things are worth knowing are truly happening. Campaign management. So campaigns are a huge company investment, and successful campaigns can drive a huge impact to revenue. But how do you know if your message is landing? Microsoft Social Listening lets you monitor how your message is landing and your audience, and of course be able to adjust it in real time if that's necessary. There are early warning systems, so never be surprised again. The early warning system lets you always stay on top of the latest developments and flag things before they go viral. And because MSL is included with CRM, every role can set up the warnings that are relevant to their job. top influencers. Microsoft Social Listening makes it easy to see who the top publishers are as well. So, who are the people that are posting conversations about your topic of interest, your products, your competitors' products. Top publishers list also shows you the top 100 publishers, complete with Clout scores, Clout being the K website, Klout.com, score on which their overall importance is as an influencer, not just on the topics, but on the social web as a whole. And then post alerts. Most people won't be sitting in front of their screens watching posts come in. And with alerts, they don't have to be. Alerts let you set up notifications so that when certain people will be notified when key words of interest that you're looking for are mentioned. Now, this lets you follow up with deeper investigation or engage early to control the message. All right. So before we get into the live demonstration, I wanted to tell you a quick little story. Oopsie. Get back here, you. There we go. I was reading a book recently, and in the foreword of the book called Utility by Jay Baer, his friend Marcus Sheridan discussed a new plan for his failing pool business after the economic downturn in 2009 that we were all hit with. So, this was really a time when very few people were buying luxury products. And anyways, he goes on in the story here to state that, consumers of all types expect to find answers on the internet now. And the companies that can best provide that information garner trust in sales and loyalty. He goes on to also explain that success truly flows to organizations that inform, not necessarily organizations that promote. So Marcus, he also learned that attacking this and taking this strategy on by being a utility and helping folks, it was determined to be his fundamental concept to inherently change and enhance his business for the better. So imagine, he went out there and he got on blogs and he did the social media thing, and all he was doing was answering questions about installing pools. Back in 2009, we didn't have tools like that. So imagine the power that he could have had by being able to visually see the impact and the clout that he was garnering online. He would have had the ability to provide streamlined focus on the social media outlets that provided the largest impact. He would have had tools at his disposal to respond quickly to favorable as well as non-favorable posts. He could have garnered competitive intelligence, understood his top influencers, and had an early warning system at his disposal which automatically notified him of important post and trend changes. So in this demonstration today, Raji and I, we're going to walk you through these tools, showing you how this scenario is not only possible, it's part of the now, and how this technology is really helping to accelerate Microsoft into our category of one. So with that, I'm going to jump on over here and jump into Dynamic CRM, guys. So this is Dynamic CRM right inside of an Internet Explorer browser. As we see, we defaulted into the sales module, and I happen to be on my home page, which is a dashboard. So the first thing I'd like to demonstrate to you today is that Microsoft Social Listening can indeed be embedded into Dynamic CRM, and here we're going to change this dashboard to the Xbox Connect dashboard. And what you get to see here in Flash is how this concept of Microsoft Social Listening widgets can be embedded into dashboards. So here's a great look at all the various types of widgets that these are literally pulling off from the Microsoft Social Listening database, and they're placed on a dashboard here. This is we've got an individual topic that we're interested in following, and it shows us what the sentiment overall is, what languages we're capturing in, how many posts per day, the actual buzz, and how it's trending over time. We also get a snapshot here of recent posts. So what are the latest RSS or Twitter or Facebook kind of posts that are coming through? Gives us that snapshot, and of course any of these can be drilled into and opened up from. Over here it's sources historically, so how has it been trending over a time period? Top authors are being shown to us up here. So anyways, I hate to do karaoke with you guys that can see the screen here, but this is incredibly powerful information that we've built in social listening, but we've got that dynamic CRM system as one system of truth that we go to for all of our information across the organization. And not only can we put it in dashboards, well, we can also put it inside of forms. So here's an account form that I've opened up previously. This is a company called Microsoft Online Gaming Division, very familiar to us. And this particular account form also now has that ability to put in widgets. So again, this is just deep diving right into social listening. Here it is. And this gives us an entire trend about that particular topic, whatever we're interested in, tying it back to this account. There it is. Okay, so then with that, we'll go ahead and jump over into the Microsoft Social Listening UI. So again, very, very similar and familiar to existing CRM 2013 or online customers, where you've got your navigation menu up here at the top, and you get to jump into the different areas. But what's important and what I'd like to concentrate on here today, and give Raji enough adequate time to show you how this was set up actually in CRM and how we were trending these very topics. I just want to kind of highlight here that we've got these dashboards and then kind of drill down through them. So here, when you first jump into Microsoft Social Listening, you get your dashboard area. And this little circle in the middle shows you all of your search topics, what's happening in terms of a buzz for the day, how all of your topics are trending. This little horizontal bar in the middle starts to talk about the various sources that are being pulled from. And this is saying, hey, over 75% of all the posts that we're reading from are coming from Twitter. Some from Facebook, some from blogs and RSS kind of feeds. And here are the topics that are of interest throughout the entire MSL system right there. So, and a little bit further on down, we did set up a bunch of search topics earlier. So the is there 365. This gives you a nice little high-level overview of what's happening here in terms of these particular topics. So, and as you hover over the different areas, you get access to additional information. But what we'll do now is I want to kind of dive deep in here, and I want to show you this Xbox Connect individual topic that we had set up. So here it is. We've drilled down into it. This is the Xbox Connect. This shows you, with respect to this particular search term, and we've got thus far almost 7,000 posts that we brought in, for almost 1,000 a day. How we're trending. This again is just a larger view of that little snapshot I showed you before. We get volume history too, so you can see, from the point at which we set up this query for this demonstration, we get to see this entire trend line of the posts that are coming in for the day, and what times and what dates, et cetera, et cetera. A little bit further on down, we get to see the sources. Where are we pulling this Xbox Connect data from on the social internet? And then, again, our heavy hitter is Twitter here in this case. And then too, if we've got multiple languages, if we're running a multilingual campaign, these would stack up in little silos to show you what's coming in from all of our native analysis languages. Okay. So let me dive a little bit deeper too and show you some very interesting information. So if we jump right in here to Twitter, and I'm into the Xbox Connect query, but I just want to sort of filter out all the other noise from Facebook and RSS and blogs. I just want to, hey, let's take a look at what Twitter is saying about Xbox Connect. and again, we've got that same sort of widget up here at the top that tells us what languages, the overall sentiment. You drag yourself on down, you get to see that same volume or trending line. But then also incredibly important is the top 5 authors. When it comes to this particular subject, who are the people that are out there making the most social noise about it? Well, there they are, and top 5 of importance. Hey, let's grab a number 1 here. This US Xbox One. This guy has been posting 334, and he's trending up. He's doing more today than he was in the past. So let's jump in and let's see what we know about this individual. So now, not only are we into the Xbox Connect query, but we filtered out, as you can see here, we only want to know about Twitter, and then I only want to know about this particular author, and it gives us the same analysis about an individual person. So, and also the sentiment value. So over a time period, negative or positive, what has this person, he or she, been saying day over day over day? And it's a great visualization to be able to understand a little bit more about this person, a little bit more about their sentiment, and how to concentrate on giving this person a little bit extra attention or not, right? Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to navigate on back here to the Twitter details. And I want to also drill down into buzz, right? So this area right here is where you get to see all of the individual posts that are happening in the marketplace, right, in all these social areas. So I'm going to jump into posts here. There we go. And this is aggregating and pulling in all the various posts. This is, again, just Twitter as a singular example, but something that's incredibly important is right here is where you can start to set up your alerts, so you can be notified when the positive, the negatives, the neutrals come in, whatever is incredibly important to you, but also some other goodies that you can begin to interact with folks is right here. This is the tweet. Do you want to be able to reply to this tweet? And if so, there it is. It'll pop this little box open and give you adequate space, 144 characters, to come on through here and comment back to them. In addition to that, you can also retweet it, right? So if you found that influential and important, go out there and retweet that back out there to just, to sort of cast the net or make it bigger. And again, the ubiquitous favoriting. So a couple other things I'd like to point out too is you do get the highlighting to see, how is this, how do we know this fits the individual query? Okay, you can begin to filter on. Scoot you on down. Here's a nice one. This begins to highlight why it believes it's a positive or a negative sentiment. So you get to, again, graphically see that, and you get to affect, right? So you almost like you get to train the system to not only read what it knows already, but then help to train it really just to start to understand that, yeah, let's confirm that was indeed positive, or let's go ahead and change it to negative. And you can also come in here and highlight rationale for why you think it's positive or negative. Okay, and then also I was talking earlier about clout scores. And that's this little, almost looks like a cell phone radio tower. Well, that's it. This is a snapshot of what this individual persona's clout score is right there. So it's just a whole handful of great information right there available at your fingertips in a very easy system that anyone can adopt. And just with a couple of pokes, you can turn that thing on in CRM 2013 and this spring wave of releases that we've put out here over this past week. And that's it. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and hand over the presenter mode over to my friend Raji. I'm going to go on mute, and he's going to take us through and show us how did we get this whole thing set up. All right, so on over to you, Raji.
All right, thank you very much. So thank you everyone for attending the webcast today. So now you should be seeing my screen instead of Vince's screen. Vince, can you confirm? So what Vince actually showed us up until this time is actually how how it is set up actually within social listening. So what I'm going to take you through is from the administration standpoint and how this is being done. So what you're actually looking at is the Office 365 portal. So if you have CRM Online, or if you have Exchange Online, you have SharePoint Online, for instance, you're very familiar with this interface that you're looking at. But how do we actually make social listening as one of the applications within your Office 365 portal? So if you are a current CRM 2013 user of CRM Online and you had 10 plus professional licenses, I'm sure you would have received an invitation stating how to activate social listening within your Office 365 module. But if you haven't, if you are interested in buying the service itself, you could navigate to the purchase services section within your Office 365 profile, and you can actually subscribe to social listening. So if you look for one of that, in this particular instance, I have the professional trial enabled for me, but at the same time, if you go in there, you'll be able to buy that through the purchase services section of the Office 365 module. Now, that is from a provisioning standpoint. As you can see right here, CRM and social listening is actually provisioned for this particular Office 365 profile. But let's take a look at it from a user provisioning standpoint. So assume I'm a user. I wanted to see how do I actually give someone social listening access, either through CRM or as a social listening as a standalone application. So you would navigate typically as anything else in Office 365. You would navigate to the users and groups section. So for our example, we're going to take a look at the at my user, in this case Rogie Thomas. I'm going to click on it. Then the settings section kind of shows you if you're a global administrator or whatnot. That's not really the section that we wanted to go into. We want to take a look at the licensing section of the application on the Office 365 profile. As you can see, there are three things that's provisioned by going through the purchase services and buying that services that you can see for this particular user, namely CRM Online, social listening, and Power BI. And as you can see, this user has been provisioned for social listening and CRM Online. And you can do that independently also. So for example, if you want analyst or someone who's not going to be using CRM Online, but just want to have a social listening application, you could check that box and not check this one, so that the appropriate license will be used for the respective applications. So that's from a adding the application to Office 365 and adding the users. But at the same time, what we have done now, up until now, is actually just provision the license to them, but we haven't set any type of credentials or what can they do within Microsoft Social Listening. So just like CRM Online, you provision the user in Office 365, but the level of access is actually provisioned within the respective application. So we'll first take a look at how and what options do we have, or Rogie Thomas set up as a social listening professional license within social listening itself. So I'm now going to navigate back to the familiar interface that you've seen with the Vince demo, the Microsoft Social Listening application. Then we'll navigate to the settings section, and we will take a look at it. We'll come back to this particular screen, but at the same time we'll go into the user management. So as you can see, all the users that we saw earlier in Office 365 profiles are now listed here, and they all seems to be administrators. So for our role, we need administrator. But at the same time, let's take a look at my particular example. There's three types of roles that you can assign it to. One is an analyst, the other one is a power analyst, and administrator. An administrator can pretty much do everything as you would expect within the application, but an analyst can only read data. For example, if you have someone in the organization, all you want them to do is actually grab the information and send it to someone else, that would be the analyst. Versus a power analyst is something somewhere you want to have that person actually set up a search criteria, but not necessarily have to do all the administrative sections, such as you wouldn't want a power analyst to be able to make someone else an administrator, things of that nature. Fairly self-explanatory from that standpoint. Now, that is from a user management within Office 365 and Microsoft Social Listening. Now, earlier Vince actually showed us the Xbox Connect search for search. Let's take a look at how that search is being set up and what options do you have as far as setting up the user. So it will be in the settings sections again. Then we will go into the search topics that's been defined for this particular Office 365 tenant. Let's take a look at the example of the Xbox Connect that he actually showed us earlier. So we're gonna take a look at how that's been defined, right? So you can see the name of the search spec is Xbox Connect, but the things that we are looking at is we are looking for the word Connect. Inclusions is Xbox One, but exclusion is 360. For example, we are in this particular case, what we are interested is actually the Connect for Xbox One, not necessarily for Xbox One, where not necessarily any words that include 360. And you are looking that in a sentence, paragraph, or a post, and you can define the search sources, namely Facebook, Twitter, blogs, and videos, YouTube videos. And you can see the languages that's also set up. So these languages do not actually go to English and German. There's 19 different languages that you can actually do searches on. The only reason why these two languages show up is because that's what's actually enabled for this particular tenant we are looking at. But assume for a second that we are actually defining these search criteria for the first time. So when we are setting up these search criteria, before you wanted to save this record, let's assume that you wanted to see how much of the poster am I going to expect per month. You can do this test search query, and it will, without utilizing any of the quota or anything for this particular post, it will say approximately 31,981 posts from Twitter is going to be actually pulled back for this particular query. So when I put in the 360, there's going to be something that will be excluded and do the test query. And this is not costing anything, and be able to give you an approximate idea as to what kind of post volume that you should be expecting within a month. So I'm going to close this for the time being and go into a different section of the application. So we looked at we looked at Twitter, we looked at Facebook pages, but at the same time, assume you are a company. So for example, and I wanted to look at specific posts that are actually posted on a specific Facebook page. We could also monitor that way. I mean, we don't have to look at it specifically from a search standpoint. I wanted to analyze everything that Vince showed, such as a sentiment analysis, volume history for a specific Facebook page. We could also do that. So I'm in the same settings section. I'm going to navigate to the Facebook pages section. As you can see, there are two sites that's been set up for this particular tenant, namely Office for Business and Xbox. So that will give you exclusive monitoring for that specific Facebook page that you wanted to monitor. This is important. So for example, you wanted to see what your competition is doing, you could add their Facebook pages and get a sentiment analysis of what they're doing versus what you're doing, can be able to better relate to that also. Few other settings I think that's also important we want to take a look at is blocked content and block sources. So if you go to block sources, I don't have anything at the moment, but what it does is that you can exclusively block certain pages that may not be relevant for your organization for your search criteria, and the same concept apply for blocked content as well. So you do not want your employees to see explicit writing or anything that may not be appropriate for business. You could search those, set those keywords so that it will not actually show up on someone looking at it, because this is very important when you, especially when we are looking at an unregulated atmosphere such as social. People can write whatever they want, but at the same time, may not be exposing that to your employees or someone taking a look at it may not be appropriate. So you could set it up that way also. First, when we landed on the settings screen itself, I quickly went in to look at the user management but what we actually saw is the quota manager. What the quota manager is telling in this particular case is that your monthly quota is 100,000, and to date you have actually consumed 88,000 posts and you have some left, so there's some action that needs to be done. Also, it actually gives you an idea of what search topic took up what amount of post for that particular month also. So from an administration standpoint, you can kind of get a good feel as to what's doing what in that scenario. That is from a Microsoft Social Listening. So far what we have looked at is we looked at the Office 365 portal, provisioning users. We looked at Microsoft Social Listening as far as setting up search topic, Facebook page, etc. Now we're going to take a look at how to make that integration happen with CRM, which Vince showed earlier. So as before, I'm going to navigate to CRM, but I'm going to go into the settings section now within the Dynamic CRM Online application, and there's a section here called Microsoft Social Listening Configuration. So what this does is actually being able to select a particular tenant for Microsoft Social Listening within your same Office 365 tenant, and being able to select that and being able to configure that for CRM. So for in this particular case, there's only one. I select that one. From that point on, CRM can consume data from the same Microsoft Social Listening application. So back to where we were. So we're going to take a look at, Vince earlier showed us, this is a dashboard for Xbox search term, but let's take a quick look at how to, I'm not going to fully go through the, selecting 5 sections, but let's take a quick look as to what we can do with one section of this, a newly created dashboard. So I'm going to click New, and I'm going to select this particular type of dashboard and click Create. Then one of the, and I'm going to call this Office 365 as my name of this dashboard. And as you can see right away, some as if you're familiar with CRM Online, you can insert charts, dashboard, things like that. But at the same time, another one that we could insert is actually a social insight component. So I'm going to click on that. Then it asks you, do you want to do a topic category or do you want to do a search topic? So in this case, I'm going to say search topic. And as you can see before, these are the topics that I have set up on the Microsoft Social Listening part. So in this case, I'm going to select Office 365 and click Next. Then it asks me, how do you want this data to be displayed? There are several options you have here. It's saying analytics summary, buzz, languages, volume, history, and so forth. And you could add multiple ones into your dashboard. So for example, I added the analytics summary, and also I wanted to do a volume history. I could do that and have that embedded within a dashboard. In this case, I'm going to say no, and I'm going to finish this setup. So with the minute I save this, you could see how my data is already reflected in my dashboard. So I'm going to go back to my dashboards, and I'm going to select the Office 365 dashboard in this second. So as easy as a few clicks, you could see right away how you can insert Microsoft Social Listening into the dashboards itself. Another thing actually Vince showed us is actually within an account component itself. So for example, the one that Vince looked at was the Microsoft Online Gaming division. As you can see right here, it's actually there. So, but how do you make this particular component come up in your forms, etc.? As easy as clicking on this and clicking on Form. As you are a customizer or an administrator for CRM Online, there's a control called Social Insight that you could drag and drop into anywhere in this Office application on this form, and publishing that form will enable you to bring into social listening. For example, let's take a look at another account that I do not have this configured. So for example, in account, we enable that configure, but at the same time social listening is not displayed here. So I could do a configure social insight and go through the same setup we went through in the dashboard to insert that. So Office 365, just like before, I'm going to do an analytics summary, and at the same time I'm going to do a volume history also. If once I click finish, you could see the data that we saw for the online gaming division is also displayed in the Office division. So in a sense, within a few clicks, you can actually bring in data from both social listening into CRM Online, or use it as a independent application. With that, Vince, I'm going to turn it back to you.
Outstanding. That is a real cool demonstration, and what a wonderful game changer for us. All right, so I'm going to take over presentation, be able to see my screen here in just a minute, and we'll move on with wrapping up today's session. All right, that should be coming up here pretty soon for everybody. Roadmap. I want to talk about the roadmap and what's happening. Right now, we are in Q2 of calendar year 2014. This is a great time for us. You might have heard a lot of the Twitter sphere, the social sphere, talking about the spring wave of releases that has come out. It is out now. It is included improvements to Dynamics CRM. It's included integration with marketing, Dynamics marketing, et cetera, et cetera. But the important things I want to focus on for today's session here are the social context here. So Subra, Libra, and Hydra, and what those really mean. And with that, excuse me, what's coming up in Libra? This is Q3 of calendar year 2014, and really the most important augmentation or addition to this particular software really is the social connections. And what this means is it's going to allow you sort of like a workflow, where you can automatically or programmatically allows it to create leads, opportunities, and cases directly from social feeds. So you'll have the ability to set it up, and you'll say, if a certain criteria is met, and when the social feed comes in, we want to make sure that we create a lead or an opportunity or a case. And with that, you can leverage the new queuing functionality and case routing functionality that we brought out with this latest release of Leo for CRM as well. And then coming up the end of this year, we codename it Hydra Release. This is an incredibly important addition to our social listening strategy, and it's where we're going to add geomapping to the solution. So not only are you going to be able to see all the posting and the trends over time, but how about a map? How about being able to use Excel Power Map or whatever technology if you want, but say being able to visualize a heat map of where most of the traffic is coming from geographically, and be able to concentrate your marketing efforts in a certain geo. All right. Pricing, licensing details. Of course, the pricing that I'm putting up here on the screen right now is retail pricing, so not applicable to anyone who's in an AEA agreement or otherwise. But just to highlight here, excuse me, it is free with CRM online implementations greater than 10 seats. So anybody who's got CRM online professional seats of 10 or more, you get Microsoft Social Listening free of charge right now. It is available to you and has been for nearly a month now. If not, and if you want to buy it one-off, the price is simply put, it's $100 per user per month. Or if you've already got CRM Professional Cal, meaning on premises, there is a upcharge of $20 per user per month to gain access to the system. As Roji had stated earlier as well, another thing to point out is there are with that free subscription here are these CALs that you can buy. There's a limit of 10,000 documents per month, so you want to spend the time to really refine and hone your search queries. But if we find out that indeed it's just not really going to satisfy it, you can of course do add-ons here as shown down below, where you can ask for more documents to be queried on a monthly basis, and the prices are there for you shown. Okay, so summary, and as we wrap this thing up here, we have provided real-time social listening for marketing departments. We've provided lead generation and social insights for your sales department. We've provided this extraordinary social care for the customer service department. We've really democratized this social listening tool and given it to everyone, to all the users, all the CRM users, and basically, we've made it widely available to absolutely everyone, not the select few. So learn more. Here's a nice website that's set up that talks about our social strategy and how it hooks into Dynamic CRM. And there's also a trial available too. So if you go to this alias right here, aka.ms/MSL trial, that'll take you to a site where you can provision Microsoft Social Listening for a period of 30 minutes, where you can begin to get into the full software and begin to play with the queries. And it is to give you an advance notice, it is all pre-set up for you, and it has been querying for a number of months now, and it's all about Microsoft products, so it cannot be customized or tailored to specifically fit your brand or your company, but it is nice that it has been set up, it has been running for an extended amount of time, and just a great place to go in and try her out. All right, so thank you, everyone. We truly appreciate your time. Here are our profiles for LinkedIn and Twitter if you'd like to reach out to us and tweet with us. On behalf of Roji and myself, Vince LaPicola, we appreciate your time, and we will open it up for any Q&A.